I could rant on like all day about why this is the wrong way to look at it, but I'm just gonna give you some clear points so you can make up your own decision with some actual useful information. Hey, I'm Katie, welcome back to the videos. So I want to start off by showing people how to become vegetarian, but I don't think that's the right way to look at it. I have been vegetarian for probably a year now, and I've been trying my best veganism for probably about 6 months now. So I'm mostly vegan, but I would say vegetarian is the fair way to put it. I don't eat any eggs, I don't have any milk. I do cheat on a little cheese sometimes, but it makes me feel guilty as well. Plus, I'm not used to dairy anymore. So let me start off by saying that I am not a nutritionist. I'm giving you my advice from my experience, which is just a year, but I have to say that once I decided to become vegetarian, I went pretty hard into it. So most people probably come across the question how to become vegetarian because they've probably heard some of the following things. First thing being, oh, how do I become vegetarian? I won't get enough protein. I won't get enough calcium. I won't get enough iron. And look at all these nice things that you ate that you cannot eat anymore. What am I going to eat? I'm just going to eat vegetables all day. Maybe I'll just eat salads like all these vegans do. No. I could rant on like all day about why this is the wrong way to look at it, but I'm just going to give you some clear points so you can make up your own decision with some actual useful information. Okay, so the first question was, will I get enough protein? Yes, you will get enough protein. Actually, one of the biggest myths about protein, not getting enough protein, is that if anything, you're gonna get an abundance of protein. If anything, the things that you have to eat for protein in a plant-based diet or a vegetarian diet are actually have a lot of other nutrients with them. They have more nutrients in plant food, I would like to say. And also, not only this, actually getting protein in a vegetarian vegan diet is actually cheaper than a meat animal diet. That's what I've found. I've stayed with some family that just eat meat, and to get the protein from the meat, because that's the way you're taught to do it, you have to go and buy expensive meat. If you're a student like me, all you're going to eat is chicken. That's what I used to eat, just chicken. I didn't really even like chicken. I just thought that I had to eat chicken. And you know what's even cheaper? You can have chickpeas, you can have black beans, lentils are really good. You can also get tofu depending on where you live. That can be pretty cheap, and it's like one of the highest. So when I become vegetarian, what key nutrients am I going to be missing? Can I just maybe make you think about that for 1 second? If anything, plants have the most vitamins and nutrients and minerals and everything, and that's where it all comes from. If you're eating an animal product, they're going to get it from the plants. If you're eating a highly processed food, you obviously know that's not that healthy for you and means they've been injected in there if it says that it's got all these nutrients, because they all come from plants. So if you're eating plants and you're eating fresh plants, like as though fresh fruits and vegetables, the less processing it is, the fresher it is, the more nutrients you're going to get, and you're going to get them stronger, which means that you're actually going to get more. The first thing is you're obviously going to feel like you're missing out on nutrients, whereas that's actually not true. You have to look at the 3 food groups of protein, fat, and carbs, and you have to decide, how am I going to balance these in my diet? So for me, when I stopped eating animal products, I realized that I was missing a lot of fats. So I had to eat more things with fats. So like avocados, nuts have a lot of fats. As well as that protein, we already said, there's a lot of beans, they're even cheaper than meat. So there are the macros you have to fulfill, and there are also the micros, and some typical ones that people will tell you about are vitamin D. Vitamin K you actually get a lot of. Iron they tell you you're missing. And I'm not a nutritionist, so I'm not going to get into that too heavily. The jury's kind of out on whether you do miss these nutrients or not, because some people that are very pro-plant-based diet say plants have everything you need, plant-based diet is the way that we should all be living, so therefore everything is in your diet. If you're still worried about it, you can do what I did, and you can research the nutrients you think you'll be missing and find foods that are high in them. For example, I was very scared about iron because I'm already a bit low on iron. Things like spinach have a lot of iron, and you can get so much more iron from them than you do from other things sometimes, so that's really helpful. And from a quick Google search, you can figure out what nutrients you're missing, what foods are in them, and they're usually really cheap foods like, spinach leaves, and you can incorporate that into your diet. One tip I would have, if you're starting off as vegetarian and you're not sure that you're really worried that your diet is not going to fulfill like your daily needs. If you're worried that you're not going to have a good enough diet, what I used is Chronometer, and I can show you that real quick. So basically, Chronometer is like this online platform you can use. So this is an example of it, just a normal day that I had in June when I was using it a lot. And you can see that it shows your macros here, so your carbohydrates, your protein, and your fats, calories. It also has it here. It also shows you your micros, so it shows you all the minerals and the vitamins you might be worried about. And for example, let's say we're worried about iron. See, I'm quite low in that. If we hover over iron, it will show where it comes from. And if you hover over the name, it will also show you like where you can find it and what it does. So it's a really good free resource to basically use for yourself. All you have to do is go to this website and you can just make an account, and it's really easy. And another thing I like to do is you can actually add your own food. So for example, this is like a sweet potato curry I've been making quite a bit. And it has all of these. I use it as like a really high protein meal. So you can see here I have like a lot of like half my daily intake of protein in like one serving. And for me, I really liked this actually because it really taught me how to eat properly. If anything, now that becoming vegetarian was kind of like a catalyst for me really learning how food works, because I was panicked. I was like, oh, vegetarian, you're gonna lack things, you're gonna be missing things, you're not gonna eat well, you have to look it up, you have to make sure you don't miss anything, or you're going to be a skinny stick and malnourished. And then using Chronometer to track what I was eating, I could really learn like very practically nutrition basically. I learned it for free just by practicing on my own food in this app. So it's not a tip if you're worried. And finally, how to not overcomplicate things, because this can get very complicated very quick, and that's what I learned. If you decide that you want to become vegetarian, you really need to, rather than looking at how to do it and figuring out that it's exhausting because you can't eat what you wanted to eat anymore, you have to really look at it as, why are you becoming vegetarian? And I think if you started off from day one saying, why do I want to be vegetarian? Then you can go and find all the reasoning you need that vegetarian and veganism is better for you and the planet. It became so popular is because of this Game Changers documentary. And that basically showed how plant-based food actually can make you a better athlete rather than a worse athlete. The thing with this documentary is I really liked the fact that it got so many people on board with trying to be vegan. But the takeaway I got from my friends who wanted to try being vegan, who had watched Game Changers, is that it was very focused on you. And for some people that works. They're focused enough that they can be like, okay, I want this for myself. I want to feed myself this way. And this is what's going to give me the best life, the best body, make me feel good. But for me, that's not really enough, because if I'm doing it for myself, I'm only accountable to myself. So if I decide to cheat, then I'm only letting myself down, which, it's quite easy to get away with shit when it's just with yourself. For me, what really made me fully commit to being vegetarian and trying to be as vegan as possible was when you look at all the statistics of what it's doing to the planet and how the animals are treated. There is a really, really, really good documentary speech, actually, that my friend sent me, and that's what completely converted me over immediately. I will really link that down below, because that even my friends who were thinking about it and they watched that, it really had an impact on them. Actually, the funny thing was, at first when I watched it, I thought, so dramatic, so intense, this guy, what is this? And once you get into it, you realize he's right. And then you realize how everybody around you tells you all these things, tells you that what you're trying to do is like, a bit intense, too much. There's always that one vegetarian who fucking fucks up all the plans that everybody has. No. It is very easy to be vegetarian. And the fact that you have a lot of meat eaters around you in a group that say that you're just making things difficult is absolute nonsense, because it's very, very easy to eat a vegetarian meal. And because you find that in a lot of places, at least for myself, being vegetarian is in the minority. A lot of people look at it this way, whereas animal products are the diet, and you have to look at it as plant products are the diet. And because people are looking at it from a animal product-based perspective, they're gonna see the lack of things that you cannot eat. And if you're not sure, people are gonna tell you, oh, you can't eat this. If you're a vegetarian, you can't eat this, you can't eat this. Actually, there's a lot of things you can eat as a vegetarian and a vegan. And if anything, what it's taught me is it's helped me to look at food a completely different way. So I'm eating a lot of things that I never would have eaten before if I was thinking on a meat-based diet. For example, I used to eat probably like chicken, vegetables, stir fry. I would have pieces of meat like a steak or a bacon or something with veg, or I would have lasagna, or I would have pepperoni pizza, meat lovers pizza even. And then if you look at like, I cannot eat these things anymore, then you really feel like you're lacking in your diet. Whereas now I have like beautiful hummus, I can have sweet potato mash, I can do really nice roast vegetables with like good herbs on them. Because the reality is even in school, I'm sure you remember learning about the food pyramid and the food groups. And when you eat with your parents, they say, you know, make sure you have your meat, your veg, and your carb, your potatoes, your pasta, or whatever it is, depending on where you're from, different diets. Sometimes people are actually very blessed and they are in a culture or a family or a community where eating plant-based, eating vegetarian, eating vegan is actually very normal. And the difference is it's exactly where you're coming from. If you're coming from a standpoint where this is a meat-based diet and this is how you eat the meat-based diet with all the meat products, then that's exactly the problem. It's not how to become vegetarian, it's how do I look at it so that it's easy to be vegetarian. And the way that you have to look at it is you go, look, I've got Mother Nature, it's full of plants, full of nutrients. How do I eat these to make it a balanced and healthy lifestyle? And the lottery question of this one was, why is asking how to become vegetarian wrong? Well, I think I've proved that by showing you that you really don't miss or lack things. So if anything, the way you should be looking at it is, why do I want to become vegetarian? Simple as, eh? Anyways, I hope that helped, and if you are curious about becoming vegetarian, maybe that gave you a little bit of insight, and if you are a vegetarian, maybe that made some sense and resonated with you. Either way, let me know what you thought if you want, and maybe I can always follow up this video with something else. So thanks for sticking with me, good luck, and remember, it's easy. Bye!